Think with me for a few minutes. If you could change your life today, starting with only 25 cents, would you change your life today? Hi, I'm Wes Waddle. I'm the author of Overqualified, Underqualified. What will your education and life experience be worth to you? Now, if you read my book, you saw in the back of the book what we call the DIMES theory. Now, the DIMES theory used to be a theory, but now it's a proven fact. A lot of people have used this practice and have found out that it has worked for them. So I want you to share this video with other people that may be able to use this. I'm going to have more examples of people using the formula, making it work in their lives. Hi, here's the idea. If you are willing to change your life starting with only 25 cents, then take the DIMES Theory Challenge. Let me explain. It'll cost you nothing, but you'll need to have 25 cents. In reality, you can keep the 25 cents. It will take you about 90 days to complete the challenge and to change your life. Here's how it works. You take 2 dimes and a nickel and place them on your desk, or on your counter, or on your vanity, or in your car, anywhere where you'll see the dimes numerous times every day. Share the experience with your family and friends. Let other people know what you're doing. Now, every day, think about the dimes. Think about the DIMES theory. Visualize the reality of having more success and more happiness in your life in the next 90 days than you've ever had before. But as a preface to the entire discussion, I want you to be thankful for what you currently have. I want you to really be thankful for your current situation. Be thankful for what I call the anticipation of expectation. Now, when I'm talking about the DIMES theory, you'll see that where we're going to go with that. But the DIMES theory, you're going to have anticipation of expectation. In other words, you're going to expect some things to happen, and with that, it's like what I call the what do you want for dinner theory. Okay, you don't know what you want, and then you start thinking, well, this is what I'm going to want in the future. That's what you're here for today. So I want you to write down 10 things right now for which you're already thankful. You say, I can't think of anything. Well, think about the fact that you have a computer to watch. Think about that you have just small things, like you have the eyes to see the video. You have the ears to hear. I worked with the deaf for many years, and they would love just to be able to hear what you're hearing right now. So let's quickly review what the DIMES theory means. The D in DIMES stands for desire. Now, I took Spanish back in high school, and the first thing we learned is DE stands for from or of. So desire stands for from the sire or from the father. Now, this could be from a father figure. It could be from your biological father. It could be from your grandfather, or it could be from your heavenly Father. So first you will want to remind yourself of your desires. Now, you can keep a list totally private, or you can share it with others. Totally up to you. Now, I recommend you write down about 50 things that you want in life. And here's how it's going to work. Get out of your comfort zone, think outside of the box, and make something happen. This is not hard to do. You may want to write down 5 to 10 places that you want to go in life. Where would you like to go? To the next county, to the next state, across the country, around the world? Where would you like to go? Write down 5 to 10 different things. Then write down maybe 5 or 10 things that you want to do in life. So what would you like to do? What would you like to learn? What would you like to do? So then figure 5 to 10 people that you want to meet. Now, some people, that's a great big list. For others, it's a very small list. You get to decide what is desirable for you. The next is 5 or 10 things that you want to learn. There are so many subjects, so many things to learn, and there's always new things being discovered. So what do you want to learn in life? Maybe write down 5 to 10 health goals. Maybe you want to get on a diet, or better yet, change your diet. Maybe you want to go run a mile. Maybe you want to run a half marathon or a marathon. So in 90 days, you're going to change your life. So if you're running and you run 1 mile this week and 2 miles the next week and 3 miles the next week, in 90 days, 13 weeks, you'll be ready for the half marathon. So maybe what you want to do is have 5 or 10 wealth goals. Maybe you want to buy a car. Maybe you want to buy a nice brand new car. Maybe you want to buy a house. Maybe you want to think outside the box, maybe 20 or 30 houses. You get to decide. But you may want to have some intangible items. What is it important to you that you want? Maybe it's a better marriage, whatever that means. Gentlemen, I recommend you may want to do something and maybe pour your wife a cup of coffee and have it sitting by her bed every morning. That may just enhance your marriage just a little bit and show her that you care. Maybe you want to just get wisdom. Maybe your desire is just to have more wisdom. I read somewhere that he that walketh with wise men shall be wise. So team up with like-minded, wise people. So folks that you want to follow, some people that you want to learn from. I do that quite often. I want to learn from somebody, I hang around them. Now that you know your top desires, choose which one of those desires in each category is the most important. Now, you may do 3 different categories. Maybe you want to have a health category and you want to run or walk or exercise more each week. But you also want to have a better marriage, so you want to work on that. You also may want to be better at your job, make more phone calls, help more people on the job, do more work, whatever that is, or work smarter at your job. Maybe you have 3 different goals and you can accomplish all of those in the next 90 days. So as you work on each category, think about what the top one is in each of those categories that are going to change your life the most and work on that category. Now remember that what you'll need to do is what we call focus. Now focus stands for follow one course until successful. So take the challenge. Start today. And before you leave the subject of desires, I want you to add the word determination. It's going to be really important. Yeah, you have desires, but I also want you to make those desires happen with determination. Okay, now you know your desires. What inspires you? Now, the I in the DIMES stands for inspiration. The DIMES theory was created to help inspire you. What puts you in the spirit every day? Maybe it's a song on the radio. You turn on the song, you listen to a certain radio, and it gets you in the spirit to do what you're supposed to do today. Because the word music means to muse or to think. So turn on the music if that puts you in the spirit that you need to be in. Maybe your spirit that's going to inspire you is a smell. Maybe it's the smell of a hot cup of coffee in the morning. For some of us, that's what it takes. For you, it may be just the smell of a flower or something else in your life. Maybe it's the smell, the sound. Maybe it's the smell of that restaurant that you really love, where you're going to go celebrate in 90 days after you accomplish your goals. Then go smell that restaurant and think about that restaurant. Maybe what inspires you is a picture. Maybe it's a picture of a loved one. Or maybe it's a picture of some place you want to go or something you want to see. Maybe that's what really inspires you. So think about this. You're driving down the road. You got the smell of the cup of coffee in your hand. You got the picture of your loved one in front of you. You hear that song on the radio, and now you're really inspired. So whatever inspires you, keep it handy and use it during the DIMES theory. But before we leave the subject of inspiration, add to that intentions, because you're going to intend to make these things happen within the next 90 days. This is really important. Now, the DIMES theory stands for, the M in the DIMES theory stands for motivation. What motivates you? The meaning of motivation is movement. What inspires you to move or to take the right action? The whole world isn't moving. The whole world is in constant motion. So think about this. When you're watching TV, you're watching things that are moving. People love to see action. Um, you like to see things moving. Motivation creates more motivation. If if you're an athlete, what motivates you to win the game? What inspires you to get moving, then what action is going to help you win the game? If you're a coach, what motivates your team? Every team's different. So every coach has the ability to think of different things that are going to work and motivate their team. If you're a runner, what motivates you to run the 100-yard dash? Or maybe the 5K run? Or maybe even a half marathon or triathlon? What's that motivation? What keeps you moving? What inspires you? Because you'll have the desire, then what inspires you, but then what motivates you to get it moving every day? Now, before we leave the subject of motivation, we're going to add the word momentum. I met with a gentleman this morning, another pilot, and he and I were talking. I said, it's like going to an airport. We've all seen it. We've gone to airports and we've seen big airplanes moving. They're driving, they're taxiing, and it takes a lot of power to motivate, to move that plane from one side of the airport to another. But you could do that with a bus. It takes motivation. You take that same airplane and you put it on the end of the runway, you push the throttle forward, now you have momentum. Maybe that's where you're at in your life. Yeah, you got motivation, you're moving, but you don't have the momentum. So with our motivation, we're going to add the word momentum. The E in the DIMES stands for enthusiasm, or entheos, or in God. It's been said that with the enthusiasm, you can have that whatever God has given you, that can be inside of you. So get that enthusiasm for life, and we're going to keep that for the next 90 days throughout the DIMES Theory Challenge. So let me tell you a true story. This happened a few years ago. I was asked to become a certified flight instructor for a certain organization, and they needed 3 candidates. They had 23 candidates, and 3 of us got the job. And I asked them, why did you hire me? And he looked at me and said, well, because when you were teaching, when you showed us what you could do, we liked your, what's the word? Enthusiasm. They liked the enthusiasm. That's what we want to see. That's what you want to see. That's what the whole world wants to see. They want to see your enthusiasm every day for the next 90 days. That's all we're asking, 90 days. And then after that, you may want to do it a second time. But let's see what we can do, what you can do with your life in the next 90 days. So the E in the DIMES theory is for the enthusiasm. Now, so please understand, people are naturally drawn to enthusiasm. Live with enthusiasm for the next 90 days, every day, and see how your life changes. Now, you will want to live with enthusiasm, not just for 90 days, but for the rest of your life. So what is enthusiasm? Cambridge Dictionary defines enthusiasm as a feeling of energetic interest in a particular subject or activity and an eagerness to be involved in it. You don't have to be bombastic. All you have to do is to have the enthusiasm, is have the eagerness to be involved. So you can do this. So enthusiasm is the key. Enthusiasm makes all the difference. So before we leave the subject of enthusiasm, I want you to add the word enlightenment. Here's why. Because we've all seen pictures or cartoons where there's a light bulb over the guy's head. Well, what that is showing is, okay, we're enthused, but now all of a sudden, wow. You see the light comes on. You look at it, you're enthused, you got the enlightenment. Yeah, you can make things happen. So that's you right now. You can make this happen. Okay, now you know the DIMES theory. The D in desire, the D stands for desire, I stands for inspiration, M stands for motivation, E stands for enthusiasm, and the S stands for success. Exactly. So with that success, what does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? How does it make you feel? Take a few seconds right now when you finish this video and feel success. Visualize success. Before you get up from the chair, decide how you are going to start to make it happen today. But first, let's take a moment and ask why this is important to you. Now, you've heard the DIMES theory. You're thinking about it because now you're thinking 10 places you want to go, 10 things you want to see, 10 things you want to do. I inspired somebody earlier today and he wanted to do other things, and this person wanted to make this amount of money. And it's like, I said, here's what you do. Here's some plans. Write down what you want. So what is it? Why do you want to do it? This is probably the most important thing at all. Maybe your reason for doing this at all is just to prove to yourself that you can do that. Just to prove to yourself that, yes, I'm good enough. I can make this happen. I can do this for 90 days. So with 90 days, as long as I'm inspired, I know what I want, I have the desires, I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I can make this happen. Maybe your reason is just to take care of a loved one. Is that your reason? If you can just take care of a loved one, then do it for them. Do it for you, but do it for them. How about being an inspiration to your family and to your friends, maybe to folks at church, or maybe it's in your other organizations, to be inspirational to others? Maybe it's as simple as feeling better every morning. Is that what it is? Is that your number one desire? Is just to feel better? That your desire? Write that down. Write it down that you want to feel better every morning. Now, your reason can be as personal to you as you want it to be. You can share it if you want to, but you don't have to. You can have an accountability partner if you want, but you don't have to. Become the leader through inspired action with enthusiasm. Now, what would it look like in your life? How do you visualize success? Share your results. Others need to hear your story and your success. If they hear your story, they will be inspired to do likewise. Now, before we leave the subject of success, let's add the word security. Now, this could be financial security. It could be a secure marriage. It could be a secure future. You get to choose. After you do the DIMES theory, then you're going to have a certain amount of security internally as well as externally. So here's the thing. I'm planning to finish my book in the summer of 2021 entitled The DIMES Theory, How to Change Your Life Starting with Just 25 Cents. And I may want to share your story. The life-changing challenge can work for people of all ages. Try it with your children. Try it with your grandchildren. Maybe try it with your parents or your grandparents. Maybe try with a brother or a sister or a cousin, or maybe your best friend. You may want to be accountable, or you may want to have certain desires. Again, there are certain desires you want to share. Others you may want to keep personal, like, well, I'm afraid to, but you get to decide how you want to make it happen. So let's make it fun as we do the DIMES Theory Challenge together. Let's see how we can help America and maybe even the world. Again, we're going to be sharing these stories only if you want to. You can share them within your community. If you're a coach, share it with your team. Make sure you pass this video on to your team. If you're a team member, pass it up to your coach. If you're a principal of a high school, pass this up to your district and down to your teachers. If you're a teacher, pass it to other teachers. If you're head of a business, maybe you're in a mortgage company or a real estate company, which is where I deal mostly, pass it on to your team members with your people to get motivated. Let's see what happens in your company, in your school, in your church, in your life in the next 90 days. The 90-day challenge, you have the probably thought about something or even written down some things. Great. For the next 90 days, write down new thoughts, new ideas. Now, if you decide to share your story, here's what I want you to do. First of all, share this video. It's really important that you share the video with your family, with your friends, with other people that can use this and get excited about it so that you can share your information and just have a better life in 90 days and throughout the next year, whatever that year is. You may see this video in, let's see, this is 2020. You may see it in years and years away. Again, the book will probably come out at the end of 2021. But even if you see this video in 5 or 10 years, start it then, whenever it's good for you. You may even want to do it periodically, maybe every year, have a certain 90 days that you want to do this. So maybe tell the world about something that you desired, that you didn't think was going to happen, and you made it happen. So if you want to share your story, what was it that you desired to make happen, and all of a sudden you wrote it down, you thought about it, you were inspired by it, you motivated, and you got the desire happen. Maybe tell the world something that inspired you that would help inspire the next person or inspire the world. What is it that inspired you and put you in the spirit every day? Maybe something that really motivated you. What was it that motivated you to take action, to really move, and to get up every day and make things happen? Tell us your story, if you're willing to, or tell me so I can share it however you want me to do that, because we want to find out how many people can use this. Maybe something that motivated you. Again, maybe you accomplished something like that was life-changing. Maybe your team, because of this, won the championship. Is that it? If your team won the championship because of watching this video, tell me that story. You may be a professional team. You may be just a local team. You may be a high school team. You may be what they call the underdog that nobody expected, but you're motivated, you're enthused, and you went out and won the championship. That's what we want to hear. What if this gave you enthusiasm every day? What did you do with the enthusiasm? Just like motivation is contagious, enthusiasm is contagious. How did your motivation affect those around you? I want to help America and the world know positive stories. If I use your story, I'll send you an autographed book. Don't worry about that. But you may want to change your life in the next 90 days, starting with only 25 cents. That's 2 dimes and a nickel. So why do we use 2 dimes and a nickel? The 2 dimes? Because of the dimes theory. Why do we use the nickel? So you remember all 5 parts. It's really important so you remember all 5 parts and don't leave anything out. Now, we realize that there are others in this world who will just have the D and the I. They'll have desires and they'll be inspired, and that's great. They have an inspired life and that's what they wanted. Perfect. That's great for them. There are others here who may have the D, the I, and the M. The desire, inspiration, and motivation. That's great. But that's really a dim life. D-I-M. But if you have the D, I, M, and E, you have the diet, and then you have the success. That's what we're looking for. We want to see how successful you can be. It's totally up to you what lifestyle that you want. So there are a few things that I will ask for you. One, send me a note after you finish the Dimes Theory. Look me up at weswaddle.com and send me a quick note. If you want to share your story, don't keep it more than maybe 100, 200 words, something small, just so you can help the world and say, this is what we accomplished, this is how we did it, this is what we want, how we made it happen. Okay, so again, share the video, share your story if you want to, and then take plenty of notes. It's really important for you to take plenty of notes so that you can keep your notes in front of you. Again, what do you want? What inspires you? What's going to motivate you? So most importantly, every time that you see 2 dimes anywhere for the rest of your life, you see 2 dimes or maybe 2 dimes and a nickel, or even for some of you, a quarter, just seeing that quarter sitting there saying, you know, I could change my life right now if I just use the DIMES theory starting with that 25 cents. So it's really important what you do with the information you get. So in conclusion, one final thought. What do we call it when we convert a quarter to 2 dimes and a nickel? What do we call that? It's called making change. Now, I've just showed you how to make the change. It's totally up to you when you want to start making that change. Now, if you have the desire and you're motivated to take action with enthusiasm, the DIMES theory can work for you. And again, if you ever cross my path and you've taken the DIMES challenge, the DIMES theory challenge, and it worked for you, come up to me, just say hello and say, Wes, I did it, and smile. We'll both know what you mean. We'll both be happier as you walk away and you'll understand how it works. So I always tell everybody this one thing: get a vision, focus, and succeed. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.